Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 21 of Illium, our modded Cities 1 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Our first section of downtown Illium is kind of complete now. The initial road frame is very nearly filled out that we set up a few episodes ago, with the campus occupying a good large chunk of the remaining section here. I imagine another road preparation episode will follow to map the lands over to the east here, and we'll be filling the final section today with a big nightlife, tourism, entertainment district as part of the downtown, with rail, metro and monorail all passing through the area, so I imagine the transit hub will also feature in this area of the city. But happy Monday to you all. Welcome back to Illium, everyone. So some buildings I'd like to feature today is going to include quite a few of the hotel stuff, but we currently don't have, well, basically any of them unlocked. So we'll go back through some older areas today, and try and retrofit some hotels into them. Wondering if I can get this right on the corner here. Drop that into the side there. Let's just move those two back just a tiny bit. We have to match their demands. 81%, I'm pretty happy with that. We could get a bit more office here. Maybe even increase the tree score with a single tree. Yeah, it'll help a little bit. 83% is better than 81, I suppose. But that'll fit nicely on the street corner. Let's head back over to perhaps the university campus over here. I think we can possibly afford to bring out some assets like that. Just want a little more landscaping. Maybe we can afford, or we can always afford a palm line by the monorail, can't we? It's never a bad idea. Made no difference at all. You do have trees around you. Maybe it's because he has concrete. Maybe he hates that. Possibly. 70% though, as long as he's in profit, that's fine. Let's have a look at the hotel chain, actually. We're going for blue. And bird laying the egg, of course. Nothing else. And we're just another hotel away. We have sewage, do we? Someone's also burnt down over here as well. How tragic. And we're very nearly out of sewage capacity now. We're also very nearly out of power as well. I've had to place a temporary power station over here, just in the forest. That will go away, don't worry. It's just, yeah, we're probably due an industrial build after so many episodes in downtown. So maybe we'll break next episode for that. Cool. Here's our next bunch. We'll grab the small hotel, which wants mostly shopping, for which there's plenty of it around here. I think I'll replace this park for the small hotel. And I can certainly see a pathway coming down here as well, right? You heard that cocoa shake. My apologies. She has just stirred from a little nap during our recording session here today. Should be pretty satisfied here, I imagine. Yeah, again, he'd like some more trees around him, which I'm happy to try, and that's fine. Blend it into these current little green belts. Maybe another tree in the garden of the hotel. Doesn't help him at all, does it? Okay, high crime rate. Oh, noise pollution directly affects it as well, does it? Okay, I guess it is very loud here, isn't it? Especially with this building next door, which also gives us a chance to check it out too. But we've not been over here for a while. Buses are very busy. See a little London bus there. Goes to Sapphire Marina, of course. And a shout out to Sapphire. Wonderful tier 2 patron. Metro here is starting to pick up some numbers now. It was a little quiet when it first kicked in, but Sim's beginning to factor it in. Certainly, hotels in and around the marina are going to make a lot of sense, isn't it? So let's just see if we can isolate a spot here. I'm going to put it there, I think. And delete that pathway. 82% is fine for me. Up here in Arcus Hills Town Centre seems a sensible play. Let's reposition some buildings here. Bring it in on the corner. Then with oaks and palms again. Get the dense green bush in the Green Cities district. Yeah, I can deal with that there on the back of the water wall. Of course, which ASUS Hills probably has one of the better views to downtown Illium here, doesn't it? Very nice. Let's not just keep placing small hotels there. Let's have a look at some of the other ones we got. The Roadside Motel. I'd quite like Roadside, if you will. I'm thinking maybe here. Just by the highway system. Monorail pillar is a little bit in the way. But can make it work in the corner of the lot there. Will you be happy here? Yeah, 98% here actually. Fantastic. Well, in that case, what is it the Roadside Motel actually want? Mainly shopping. I think we can certainly afford one over here as well, can't we? So we're going to delete these houses here. And then we'll use this as another motel location. I also wonder how feasible are these assets? So if we can get high values in a similar area, we're certainly going to bob those vanilla trees off. Just took it right up, so the balconies are essentially touching. Yeah, okay, so new feasible discovered. The Roadside Motel from the Hotels DLC is very feasible. You do get the repeated motel sign, which I guess could be a bit much. These guys do want a little bit of office, so I think I'm happy to bring that in. Let's remove from commercial from here. We'll throw in a little 4x4 office. Maybe even something a little taller. I am planning to upzone a lot of this coast here eventually. I think the view of the low density immediately to downtown across the water is a bit jarring. I feel like this would be much more developed in hindsight now. So perhaps we can almost experiment with how that might look with some taller office here. We will get to the downtown, everyone, don't we? I just want a few hotels first. And then I'll get another roadside motel in down at the bottom here too. Super. There's our 3rd star for the hotel chain. Which gives us some first taller buildings which we can place much more in around the downtown because these are significantly taller. Besides the Mountain Lodge and the Boat Hotel, which probably still could go here to be honest. Maybe under off the World Trade Center. Would that work? Maybe even there. I'm just going to place that temporarily. We'll obviously have to reform the key to fit it. But I honestly really don't mind that there at all. That adds quite a lot to the harbour space, doesn't it? Quite underwater. You might need to elevate up a touch, I think. It's also colliding with the cruise ships as well, isn't it, at this angle? Yeah, as cool as it is, I don't think I'm going to get it there, unfortunately. We'll try it in another location. Here, we just have some generic city centre commercial, which I'm happy to remove. Mod in our first hotel. Which will change our skyline, but I'm not too bothered about that, to be honest. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. 100% happiness rating for him. He can go to max price, like super expensive in the city hotels in Illium. And I guess I'm happy to accommodate sort of one of these hotel variants in each of the downtown blocks, if you like. A little bit of retrofitting, revisiting for today's episode of him. Although it won't be all we do, I promise. A 69% rating here, which is quite nice. Just want a little bit more office. I think here, I'm going to change this one down to one of the more stumpy variants, I think. Just so we're not getting the same asset sort of everywhere, really. Even though you can't really see the other one from here anyway. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. That sits in nice with the building behind. I'm pretty happy with that. And then perhaps another one of these hotels over in at the main marina as well. I think I'll actually replace this hotels from the After Dark pack. Actual hotels DLC. Again, we'll do a variant we haven't used yet. Oh, little city hotel. Now you should be pretty happy over here. I think we can probably afford max price on you, can't we? Super. So I'm happy with the current hotel additions. Brings us up to pretty much 12,000 a week weekly profit in the current installation. Our most profitable ones is this city hotel over here, which is earning us 3.5 grand a week essentially. So to just anarchy through the progression milestones, because I don't want to just spam these everywhere, and I want the other ones unlocked today. With this one here, I'm just going to bring it over the same place, and place a few of them. That will obviously leave many buildings on the same spot. And once they all kick in, we'll see them climb into our weekly profit. Super. There's the next tier unlocked, which gives us the conference hotel, which we'll certainly use today. Let's go ahead and place that down as a little reminder. So I'll just let this tick over for 5 stars. And then we will hit the design hotel, which is the one I want to use today. So we're just lining up the two major big hotels next to each other on the waterfront here. I think certainly the Monorail partners much nicer with the design hotel. But the deluxe hotel is such a big dominant building, isn't it? I feel like it would be a shame not to have this in here. I wonder if it'll sit nicely over on this corner here. Wait, is that sitting fit? It's not far off. It is currently sat in the middle of the road, I'm aware. But it's easy to adjust the nodes here. It does kind of sit nicely with the museum as well. I really love this corner perspective. Yeah, I think I can get on board with this here, you know. It's going to form a significant chunk of the skyline too, taking a step back here. It's very blue, isn't it? It is very blue. It's maybe too blue. I think we need to tone that down a little bit, don't we? No, that's still not much better. we might change the hotel colour today. So Monorail, let's just reposition here, because the hotel will take the front and centre. And we'll have this sit pretty much centrally in the block. It's the same height as a local node. Super. So I'm happy for them to form as part of our skyline. With so much hotels around here, it's going to make sense for us to have a lot of very entertainment themed unique buildings. Which I think will bring in the aquarium. I'll just drop down a selection of what I want to use here. Expo Centre will probably feature. We'll consider the Theatre of Wonders. And I think we'll bring in some of the Korean shopping themed assets as well, things like the Dosan Centre. Although we have used the Dosan Centre quite nearby, haven't we? It's not that I can't use them again, if I am going to duplicate the unique buildings, I'd rather not have them in the same sight line as each other, unless of course it's a purposeful fusing, if you like. Let's start positioning our main assets down our road here. And then we'll have the shopping centre on the corner. We should probably have a back end to respect here as well, do we? There's some delivery detailing. And another entrance here, which will possibly pedestrianise to lead into another unit building. Now we'll just trim away some road frames here that we don't need. Expo Centre will also fit in. Bear in mind, I do want to begin crawling down here. We will still have towers, but we're certainly falling away from the super talls that will sit here at some point. Well, today, because that's where we're building. But so certainly coming down to more of this height. Approaching what I'm almost sure now is going to be the airport. It's either going to be an airport or the airport will be out here on the peninsula. Not sure yet. I think the aesthetic of the planes coming in, flying past the skyline to land here is probably going to be too good to refuse. So we'll just accept it, right? It is probably going to happen in the downtown, I think. Although there is no reason we can't have two airports. So to consider a transit hub here to bring in the lines that are coming in, specifically Metro and Monorail. I wonder if we have a hub we could use comprising the two. I say, well, I mean Metro Monorail train. The only problem is with that is the Metro doesn't come over here and is on the ground. And that one's far too big for here. Okay, well, we'll do our own then. We'll grab ourselves a basic metro station, just one that goes on the road. And then a train station. Likely, well, usually always content creator, right? The Japan are a little bit industrial looking. I think I'm more inclined to go with one of Peanut's ground level stations. I'm gonna place this here. Let's get it hooked in. Pretty easy integration there. And I guess it's not going to be an exact fusing. If I can at least make it look part of the same complex, I'm happy. As in if I can have that monorail pillar sit on the car parking block. We can actually set up our first train line here as well. So this is going to be the left side tracks. These guys are going to go off this way, serving this whole area on the other side. Which we can't currently do yet because the tile boundary is locked where we need to create the rail connection. So it's currently out of our remit. But we'll start this first train line from the very left platform. And you can stop here. And then immediately return. Because you have currently nowhere else to go, but one day you will. And then the monorail will flow out. Certainly very integrated into the entertainment district here. So with that said, let's find a place. Can I do that? Can I do that? Or is that going to look very stupid? You all know what I'm thinking. You all know what I'm thinking. Hold on. I think it's going to be too tight. I think the monorail's going to clip with it. No, hold on. Let me just check something. How much clearance do we have either side of a monorail when it's on it? Yeah, it does overhang slightly from the track, doesn't it? It's not by an awful lot though. I'm gonna do it. Give me a second and we'll see if this is actually going to happen. So the only conceivable location this really fits is if we have the Theatre of Wonders pretty much exactly here. Which I'm not against. I do certainly want to remove all the trees off of this though. We'll have to find a way to actually give it a road connection. But this might not even work anyway. Let's test the monorail first. Of course, this is the monorail that actually extends all the way back down to the first transit hub we did over here. So this is really travelling some distance now. There's going to be a lot of first-person tours to be had with Illium, I feel. There's so much transit. So we can enjoy metro rides, monorail rides. But this monorail on the right is likely going to change course. Oh my god, it's about to happen. Please work. I would love this to look alright. Oh, it does. it does clip that final little arch just a little bit, doesn't it? Can we get away with it? I really want to do it. I just want to see what it looks like coming back the other way. No, it does clip quite badly here as well, doesn't it? The other option would be to bring it right above, but I think that's just going to look too awkward for it to rise and fall like that, especially when it's already falling back down this way. Okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and blend it in and make it look alright. It's a bit of a bold move, I'm fully aware. I think I'm going to do it. I know there's going to be people not massively happy with that decision in the comments today, but we live to test the boundaries, don't we, everyone? Okay. I'll have it in there. I definitely mentioned more towers through here too, so let's have a little brief look at the road structure. We need to actually... What we're doing with the tram through here as well, the tram needs to carry on. As does the metro line underneath it. So tram is on this road, it will stay doing that. I'm going to send that straight down onto the couplet road there actually. Let's do a little bit of node controller here. And then we really don't need the tram anywhere here because there's monorail, trains, and metro. Well, there will be metro in a second anyway. So, I think the tram will come off here. We're going to use Network Multi-Tool to set up a parallel function here. I'm going to run... I'll redraw these junctions here. And where do I want to take you down to? I think eventually I'd probably love the tram to come into the park. Yeah, let's do that. Let's have a parallel function here, and then we'll just use plus to bring it as in the middle as we can get it. We'll hit enter to that. Throw back to Orchid Bay's couplet system here with the tram running down the middle. And then we'll just run a curve of that. Can we get a road guideline snap here? Down into there. Let's give this another little stretch. And then we can just do it so we don't have everyone torn. I'm happy with that. Gives us a bit more of a feature against the couplet system too, something more to detail and work with. Speaking of, let's just straighten out these nodes around the back of the hotel here too. There is certainly a terrain difference to blend in here, but we'll save that job for detail and egg. Returning to our transit, start to see some people arrive. I'm not going to allow intercity trains here. If you're a tourist and you're arriving from distant shores, then you go into the centre hub. Don't stop here. And then from this, I'd like to form a little bit of a plaza design, I think. Let's bring you straight down. We'll go for some trees here. Perhaps the After Dark road, actually. No, the mass transit road, sorry. Bring that down to the waterfront. Let's get some arms in here, shall we? And then the metro station, which is, I wonder, do I have that actually unlocked yet, that terminal? No, when does it pop? Level 2 airport area for a metro station. Then again, there's not a lot of room. If I'm going to terraform this, when do we get the next tile? We already have it. We're going to grab this tile, because it will be the next one we build in anyway. What does this leave us at now for 9 tile players? We have 1, 2, 3... So that was the 8th tile. If you're a 9 tile player following along, I would make your 9th and final tile here. Is what I would probably do rather than coming down this way. Such a shame for a 9 tile build to get this map. You miss out on so many amazing little bits of area to build in here. Or you could also come down here as well and build this section. You'd leave yourself with a very abrupt edge here, unfortunately, if you are a 9 tile player still. Either way, back to metro stations. I do sometimes think I'm over prepping the transit in Illium. I just can't help it. it keeps happening. I'd be quite happy for the metro to go a little bit waterborne here. At least over the water. As it crosses into the airport complex. Bring that one in there. Right, we'll sort out those tree positionings in a second. First of all, let's get this first metro line running on the coast. Of course, which is our actual Airport Express metro one day. You guys stop here. Only 4? Seriously? Only 4? And we're just missing some intercity train drops, aren't we? There's a few people picking up this first internal line. Plenty more tourists arriving here as well. Yeah, they're kind of like really evenly distributing at the minute. Lots choosing to walk, of course, onto the Hello People pathways, which are just insanely busy. And then here I'd love an angle. But very much respecting what happens with this asset in Osaka. It does just stand very much kind of on its own, in its own little grid block here. For which I think we'll place some concrete around it. With loads of plaza detailing out the front of the stations here. Lots of convergence of these people walking straight up and down. Interesting, they actually cross over through the hedge there, don't they? Am I happy about that? I'd prefer it if it was an actual intersection. So I think we'll help them with that. Let's do a little road here. I'll probably envision this following the coast as well to hold some more buildings. And then we'll create another intersection here as this bus road continues down toward the airport. So I mentioned earlier that I'm considering, well, not considering, it is going to happen. Kind of a part 2 of the downtown road plan, if you like. And then you will plug into a terminal, I imagine, at some point in the future. It's going to be a very dramatic airport setting here with so many rails over here out the front. A little bit of a death wave at the minute. Let's also bring in one of the new hotels. We'll have the conference here, which very nearly sits. I'll actually get rid of that road there. We'll have this facing the water, of course, by the expo centre. Is there a fusing here? This is probably a bit too obnoxious. Yeah, it is. I don't like that. We'll bring this in. I'm actually going to reduce the footprint of this asset quite a bit as well. And by being finally able to bob off the redwoods that come on this hotel. Which is quite a jarring aesthetic for the downtown. We'll have this right here. We'll respect some landscaping at the front, of course. We'll do our own trees. Let's go date palms, maybe. Bit more of an exotic hotel vibe. And then this mainly wants quite a bit of office. So wouldn't be averse to some IT cluster and probably some financial districts out here too. Place some green cities in here. Allow some walkable space to develop between all these buildings. Certainly, I think we can probably afford some smaller concrete here while still respecting that tree space we just set up there. Bring in some more sensible road connections now we know where our assets are sitting. And I think some more of the interesting shaped towers out here. Get some of these long thin boys in. Car parking around the foot of these towers too. We did see a really nice fusing on City Showcase recently, actually, which I wouldn't mind trying. Some of the modern city centre commercial first. Ideally something that works in a perfect cube. This one possibly. There's always a candidate, isn't it? So it fills our block out, and then we'll grab one of these towers, I think. It's a really nice little combination. Just kind of gives a little outer rim, if you like, to the tower itself. Something a little bit different, isn't it? Don't mind that there at all. I certainly want to keep the front of the building open here, but certainly quite a bit more height around this particular bit of the city. I'm bringing in another tower alongside the metro. And then form up some more ploppable blocks of high density commercial down this arterial road here. I'm happy with that there. Got a nice little, basically another little miniature skyline forming of office commercial uniques. Starting to come together here now, isn't it, I think? In terms of the wasteland will run against the train line here, because I certainly would like it to be, well, like a train line, I suppose. I think we'll consider some prop fencing in an effort to save some nodes. The node police have been, I think, somewhat concerned. Rightfully so. There has been a lot. I wonder if the prison fence, it's a bit too prisony, I suppose, isn't it? Let's do chain link. I think we'll do chain link fencing here. Okay, so we'll run this from the back of the hotel. Using the line mode here, of course. And saving a little bit of edge between the fence and the rail. And then we'll just draw that up into the station there. And we'll get lots of overgrowth here down amongst the rail as well, especially as it peels back off the hotel. Blend in a lot of these spaces. In terms of what we're going to do with the waterfront, I think I want it to form quite a landscaped green belt that comes, I think, from the front of the hotel. I'm just using regular. But actually, maybe no. I think I will maybe chunk up to an amusement park pathway, actually. I think the contrast of the red might be quite welcome. And then just have this, basically everything between the quay and the metro. It's this really nice, continually flowing, walkable space. And then we'll use node controller here. And just open up these little path nodes. Get tons of benches, gazebos, lots of path lining. With the bushes. Palms, I think, will obviously play quite an important aesthetic to our kind of luxury tourism vibe here, I think. I reckon I can probably quite happily blend this pathway back into there as well. It was somewhat confused the node in the middle. Changes it to dirt for some reason, which is a bit annoying. But I can make do with it. And then we'll tidy all these little surfaces up and take us back up to the concrete base on the expo centre here. Giving us what will hopefully one day form part of our amazing first person tour. As we possibly walk along the entire coast of downtown Illium, which is a fair old trek. You keep actually pass by all these sections as well. But otherwise, I think we're ready to make it look like this now. Go ahead and fill it in with props. And just elaborate all the little spaces that we've created in between our main tower ideas and hotels and whatnot. And gradually blend in. At the last section of this road frame at least. And I think next episode we'll probably break for an industrial build due to power and sewage now being right on the precipice. Indeed, before we have another go at a road frame to map out the rest of all this infrastructure here. And we'll take on that part too. But either way, go ahead and grab yourself some snacks and we'll be right back, detailing time lapse. Alright guys, let's have a little detailed review, shall we, of our new downtown additions. I filled quite the space today. You see where it sprawls, I guess it's the last bit of the eastern frame. But we'll definitely set up a new one. Coming in we have table detailing on the waterfront, places to sit and enjoy distant views to the port of Francis over here, which is a very nice setting, isn't it? Really like that. The metro starting to get a little bit of use now. People's beginning to gather. 292. 1 at the train station. And then 141 through the monorail. The train station, I imagine, will become significantly busier once it does connect to Francis. But that'll be a 25 tile connection before we can get that in. At the end of the build here, just drew in a little elevated section of road. That really kind of marks the end of the build on this section. And that links us back onto the couplet up this way. We'll grab this way here. Set up a little mall on the couplet road, fusing of King Leno's malls. Push them back a little bit with some extended concrete. Trees out the front. Likewise, we added the retaining wall. And that was actually in the rail trench down from the central station. You see it sloped down back to that level over there. Plenty of people using this key as well now, which is wonderful. Plus some wall-to-wall residential combinations. Fair bit of building spawn points work here. So their garbage is collected from the road. Because obviously they're turned 180 degrees, otherwise they would suffer endless problems. A little cafe in here links us back to the walkable greenbelt that spans around the back, blending into some death care that was needed in the downtown. Especially this side of the city, there's not a lot of death service over here. More wall-to-wall residential combinations filled in. Parking around all these existing structures that come with the assets. There's some playgrounds for local children. That little path linking people to, which is actually getting some use here as well. Really love just like the flow of the networks here. A little bit of node control at play as well. Just nice to see that, isn't it? We're also seeing people cycling here now as well, of course. Now that there are people living down here. And we'll continue into airport frontage, I imagine, as this eventually gets built. Probably not too far from an airport now. I'm pretty sure I want to do it here. I'm quite indecisive with Illium's airport for some reason. Just not super sure where I want it yet, but like I said, I don't think I can resist the sightline of planes coming into land over the water past the skyline. I think that'll just be too good. Back down this way, some wall-to-wall completes the end of the block over here. With some nice planter detailing, a simple pattern, benches, bins, flower bed and a jacaranda. With some gentle landscaping back around the waterfront here. Our IT cluster sits in with the buildings we plopped in the episode. I didn't really know what to do with this space, so decided just to make it essentially train wasteland with our chain link fencing up against the road here. So we get a very impressive view of the trains heading deep into the city centre here. With this, well, a little bit of the skyline behind it. Which is a really nice view, that, isn't it? Something very cool about trains heading into city centre. You really got a plan for it, but the map is kind of perfect for it, really, anyway. It makes it very easy. Further down, we'll see commercial Africa in miniature, unique buildings. A little bit of fusing here with a police station. The Eddie Kavango building is also in downtown. This is one of the uniques from the Shops of Shibuya DLC. Which is very triangular and makes a perfect fusing here, I think. So I was happy with that. Planters, fountains in all the spaces around it. Lots of walkable path around the foot of the Theatre of Wonders here as well. Some planter detailing. A little bit of King Leno's shopping malls with wall-to-wall down here too, just filling some awkward space under the monorail. Which turned out quite nicely. Threw in more towers around this way with car parking. Overgrowth and fencing as we see the train pass right through there. Very impressive, that, isn't it? Love seeing them come and go. Over this way, we'll see our office blocks. Some repetitive mirrored plaza detailing at the front of the design hotel here. Before that green belt kicks back in. Flows through, which is giving me the visual I want. Just this green band between water and the buildings. Probably something I'll keep going all the way through here as well, I imagine. But this landscape will change with the airport terraforming, I imagine, so we'll factor that in, so you can essentially walk all the way along the keys. Sometimes you are just on key, and then other times it transitions into these kind of open greenbelt spaces. Then you're back on the keys again, and you can just basically make your way down the whole waterfront without actually having to take any public transit. So I'm loving it. So should we just have a little flyby now, actually, while we're down here? Let's head over to the last major waterfront development, which is the hub over here, isn't it? Yeah, which is still getting a decent amount of use. And past the stadium. Under the bridge. Possible justification for a footbridge here, actually, isn't there, maybe? I think so. Past the marina where the monorails are just endless, aren't they? There's so many little monorails snaking all over the downtown now. It might be looking a bit obnoxious with how much transit there is, but right now it's all localized into the downtown. When it all connects out to the outer line towns, it'll make a lot more sense, I think. Right now it's all very dense in similar directions, but one day it won't be similar directions, but still remain very dense. Is my thought process behind it anyway. And then paths around the back of the shopping mall here. Where new towers sitting with our expo centre. Which brings us back to this part of the build with the aquarium on the waterfront. Also, just a quick note here. I have begun to layer this. This obviously isn't final, because this is horrendously cut in. But I think what's going to happen with the monorail, because again, there is possible elements of over-planning to an extent. This bottom line, well, this top line here on the monorail station is essentially going to form a figure of 8 because it loops this way and then comes back this way. So they're crossing over from the same station here at this crossroads. So by looping them around this side and then this side, we'll create a full figure of 8 pattern around the downtown with one monorail line, whilst it continues to intersect with the other monorail lines like this one, which peels away. And will eventually terminate at the airport, of course. So that's the plan with the monorail, which is why it's now cutting under when this is all leveled off as part of the big Central Park Hill build. We'll worry about gradients here and get this sunk essentially down to ground level, so the monorail runs at this height rather than, you know, what you would normally expect it to over here. Surface painter between the couplet road as well, where the tram flows. And we are getting some people using those trams. There's also some pretty splendid views on the inner city streets of Illium these days. Especially looking to today's developments with all these modern kind of hotel tourism focused kind of attractions and office space. So it's always such a treat of a theme to build in, isn't it? And it's just bustling. Brilliant. Love it. We'll see the monorail pass through the Theatre of Wonders for one more time in the episode as well. There we go. Probably get some complaints about that one today, but I love it. And it's always a treat to play some modded CS1, isn't it? But otherwise we will leave it there. An enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that bankroll these videos, with a roll call to our Golden Egg patrons. Casino, Spartan Angel, Michael W, Phoenix MD, Blythe, Jamin, and Greatsy. If indeed you'd like to get involved in that, links to Patreon and Instant Gaming are always the best way to help support the channel here. And indeed, likes and comments below do wonders for these videos. This kind of, I guess, completes the initial stage of downtown. We certainly need to break away for an industrial build. Demands are beginning to fall in our various services across the city, sewage and power in particular. Garbage probably isn't far behind either. And certainly expect a second road frame episode. I think I want to bring the very popular bow tie intersection back into downtown Illium, possibly as the airport junction. And that also feeds into the Central Park as well. So expect another road and network prep session as very much phase 2 of downtown Illium begins, I think. Please do enjoy the cinematics. I'm sure the night views from here will be pretty spectacular, as new towers have been added into the ever-growing waterfront here along downtown Illium. Otherwise, I'll shut up and leave it there. Thank you all again so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.